Picture a construction site. There's an engineer who shows up every single day, laying one brick, one beam at a time, patient, silent, essential. And then there's a politician who gives one speech, and suddenly that entire building gets remembered under his name. Why does that happen? Why do some people work harder and still stay invisible, while others do far less and still walk into every room as the most powerful person in it? 500 years ago, a man answered that exact question. Niccolò Machiavelli. The year was 1502. The place was Senegalia. A duke, Cesare Borgia, invites his own allies to a private dinner, shakes their hands, embraces them, shares wine with them, and before dessert is served, has every one of them executed. Machiavelli was sitting in that room, watching as a diplomat, taking mental notes. And what he took away from that night wasn't some cheap trust no one lesson. He learned that power is never given, it's engineered. Today, we're pulling 7 hidden rules straight out of his book, The Prince. Rules that builders, business tycoons, and powerful politicians still quietly follow to this day, but almost never admit out loud. This isn't villain philosophy. It's a survival manual written for a world with no rulebook. Every powerful person you've ever watched, a tycoon who turns one deal into an empire, or a leader who shifts an entire nation's mood with a single statement, has this same underlying pattern running beneath the surface. And it's not something taught in school. It's deliberately hidden. In this video, we're not stopping at theory. Every single law comes with a real historical example and a modern one. So you see, this isn't just dusty book knowledge. It's actively being used right now, from corporate boardrooms to parliament floors. But here's the warning. As we go through these laws one by one, there's going to be a moment where you realize that people you always assumed were being genuine with you were actually running these exact same rules on you. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it.
Here's the first hidden rule. Powerful people never say out loud, affection is fragile, but utility is permanent. Machiavelli understood something brutal. People don't keep you close because they like you. They keep you close because you solve a problem for them. The moment you stop solving that problem, the warmth disappears overnight. Look at any billion-dollar builder or real estate tycoon who suddenly gets cut out of a deal the second a bigger, more useful partner walks in. It was never personal loyalty holding that relationship together. It was function. And this is exactly why powerful politicians never walk into a room hoping to be liked. They walk in already knowing the one specific problem they solve for the people in front of them. Votes, funding, protection, information. Before you ever try to network with someone powerful, ask yourself honestly, if I disappeared tomorrow, what exact gap would I leave behind? If you don't have an answer, you're not networking. You're just decoration in someone else's room. The second rule is darker, and it's the one most people violate without even realizing it. Never let them see you need them. The instant you show desperation, for a job, a deal, a favor, even a friendship, your negotiating power collapses completely. Machiavelli wrote about princes who leaned entirely on one ally for survival, and how that single dependency turned them into puppets. The same thing happens today. Watch any startup founder walk into a funding meeting visibly desperate for that one investor's money. The terms they get back are brutal, because the investor can smell the need. This is the part that stings. Think about every time you chased someone powerful a little too hard, followed up one message too many, agreed to unfair terms because you were scared of losing the opportunity. That wasn't bad luck. That was you broadcasting exactly what Machiavelli warned 5 centuries ago. That dependency is the fastest way to hand someone else control over you. And the people on the other side of that table? They already knew it before you did. The third rule is something every powerful builder and every seasoned politician does before they even open their mouth. They read the room before they play in it. Machiavelli spent pages breaking down Italian city-states not because he loved politics, but because he knew one truth. The person who looks powerful in a room is rarely the person who actually decides anything. There's always a quiet figure standing near the back, barely speaking, who everyone else glances at before making a move. That's the real target. Powerful people build what amounts to a mental map before every meeting. Who benefits if I win here, who loses, and who's staying silent but secretly pulling strings. Walk into any political rally, any construction tender meeting, any boardroom, and the amateurs talk to whoever's loudest, while the ones who actually get deals done have already identified the one person whose nod matters most. Skipping this step is why so many people network for years and never actually move up. They're shaking hands with the wrong people the entire time. The fourth rule is the most misunderstood line from Machiavelli's entire book, and it's usually quoted wrong. People assume he said, "It's better to be feared than loved, full stop." That's not it. His actual point was sharper. Love is unreliable because people abandon you the second it's convenient, but a reputation for being unpredictable when crossed keeps people cautious and careful around you, even when you're not in the room. This is exactly why certain politicians and tycoons never overreact publicly, but everyone still tiptoes around them. Here's the uncomfortable truth this exposes. The nice person who never sets a boundary, who lets every disrespect slide to keep the peace. That person isn't safe, they're just unprotected. Every powerful person you've admired has, at some point, deliberately let one consequence land hard, specifically so they never had to repeat it. The fifth rule is one that makes people uncomfortable to admit, but every powerful builder and politician lives by it. Alliances are transactions, not friendships. This doesn't mean treating people like garbage. It means going into every partnership with brutal clarity about what each side actually gives and gets. Machiavelli never romanticized loyalty between princes. He studied it as a contract that lasts exactly as long as it benefits both sides. Watch how quickly political coalitions dissolve the moment one party stops getting value, or how fast a construction partnership breaks apart once the bigger contractor finds cheaper labor elsewhere. That's not betrayal. That's the transaction ending on schedule, and the only people shocked by it are the ones who mistook it for friendship in the first place. Before you enter any alliance, name the exchange to yourself honestly. If you can't name what you're getting, you're not in a partnership. You're being used by someone who already did. The sixth rule is where most people get Machiavelli completely wrong, and it needs to be said clearly. Adapt your approach, never your values. Machiavelli's flexibility principle was about reading each person differently. Some respond to logic, some to charm, some only respect firmness, and adjusting your style accordingly. That is strategy. What it is not is abandoning your principles depending on who's in the room. The politician who tells every audience whatever they want to hear isn't being Machiavellian, he's being spineless, and eventually every audience notices the same act performed for someone else. Real power comes from staying consistent in what you stand for while being smart about how you deliver it. Now here's where we need to stop and be honest, because everything you just heard can easily be twisted into an excuse to manipulate every person around you. And that's not what this is about. Machiavelli himself wasn't writing a manual for becoming a con artist. He was writing about survival in a world where niceness alone gets you erased. There's a real difference between being strategic and being exploitative, and that line matters more than any of the 7 rules combined. Being useful before being liked doesn't mean faking every relationship. It means understanding that value keeps doors open. Never showing need doesn't mean lying about your position. It means not broadcasting weakness to people who will use it against you. Reading the room and managing your reputation isn't cruelty. It's basic self-preservation in rooms where everyone else is already doing exactly that to you. The moment any of these rules get used to genuinely harm people who trust you, you're not playing Machiavelli's game anymore. You've just become the version of Cesare Borgia at that dinner table, and history remembers exactly how that ends for people like him, too. Real, lasting power was never built on burned relationships. It was built on people who were strategic and still trustworthy enough that others kept choosing to work with them twice. You don't need to become ruthless to survive rooms like this. You just need to stop being the only person in the room who doesn't know the rules are being played. So the real question isn't whether you'll use these 7 laws. It's whether you'll keep being the one they're used on, or finally learn to recognize the pattern before the handshake even happens. If this shifted how you see the powerful people around you, that's exactly the point. Subscribe and comment which one of these 7 you've already had used on you without realizing it.